Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Gentleman Gains podcast. Today we're covering men's mental health. I'm your co-host Sam, and we got the other guys in the house today.
Jakub.
Andrew.
And Karan, welcome back.
Welcome guys. So today I think we're mostly just covering the stigma around men's mental health in general, something that has been talked of more recently in recent years, but is still a completely very pushed to the wayside in regards to much of our normal conversation in society. And I think we've all had different experiences growing up with how that side of mental health has affected us. So we'll give our thoughts and opinions on that. And then we'll give you some options that we've all done to help improve our mental health over the years, and just some ideas. We're not experts, but hopefully we'll be able to help you guys out with that,
Or at least give you some ideas to relate to.
Yeah, exactly. Let you guys know that you're not alone out there. There's at least 4 dudes.
Share our experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like you gave him a death stare.
That was good.
I just look over to Sam's screen, it's just a death stare.
Wait, since when? So I was looking at my wall.
It's like, damn, did I do something wrong, bro?
We are talking about mental health.
Alright. Well, this is a way to kill mental.
Dude, this is what they mean by mental health, is your mental degradation.
Yeah, bro, it's healthy to laugh.
Yeah, mental health. You talk about mental health and everyone laughs.
Nah, not in that way.
Yeah.
Nah.
Not in that way.
We can't keep that in.
No.
It was good to laugh, though. Laugh is good for the mental health.
Good.
I guess we can go off some experiences we had, or how it's affected us growing up. So I guess for me, and what I've noticed too, is because growing up it was always looked down upon if you were if you cry or you show any type of sadness or anything like that. And obviously as you grow up, you learn these things are normal for men. And I feel too, because growing up too, my dad always kind of made me feel that way as well, stigmatized. And I'm sure as he's grown up and generations before him, as it's probably been worse, have grown up that way too. When it's stigmatized, you can't really show that weakness. And I feel as we grow up and learn these things, I find too that even my own father and men around me too have softened a lot more as well. And I feel they're too showing more than they would have when I was younger, or how I remember them when I was younger. So I feel overall as a society, it's definitely going the right way in terms of that.
Yeah, there's definitely been some improvement in that regard, for sure.
There's still a long way to go, but we are starting. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's funny because a lot of us are from that kind of weird in between of a generation, or definitely at least me and Jake, because we're the exact same age, but where you find that the generation after us is now all about it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel pain, those kinds of things. And the generation before us was 100% not still.
Yeah.
But we were somewhere in the middle, where it was starting to change, but hadn't really made that full revolution yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
You are not
interesting
calling
to
us
see.
old, right?
Yeah. So
That's
it's interesting to see how that has changed over the few, through that generational gap. It hasn't been, we haven't had to see it through 3 or 4 generations like some of our parents and grandparents have had to see that change finally happen, but rather just our generation has kind of decided to make that change.
Yep, it's true. It's a good point. But I feel a lot of times too it's a bit too extreme there.
Yeah,
Can go overboard at times, too extreme, but it's good that we are going in that direction where men can feel that they have a place and a voice, because it's more of a strength to be able to admit these things than it is holding it back, because it's very unhealthy to do that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As a guy, like it's really really hard to admit.
Yeah.
Because we don't really want to show that weakness to
Yeah.
everyone else about like masculinity is like a big word for us to think about, like, oh, we don't want to be weak in front of our
Yeah.
friends and family. We just want to just suck it up and just try and just pull through, because around my time, like I didn't really learn a lot about mental health until like I started watching like the news about like how everything suicidal and everything, but they never mentioned anything about like brain damage and everything that led to like that was like from mental health or something. They never mentioned that in the news and the media. They kind of avoid all those important things, and they just want to put out whatever is like, so how do you say it, like just crazy
Put
or
it out
something.
there,
Like
yeah.
it just gets you an attention.
Yeah.
Like it just gets your attention right away.
Yeah.
All the
I think
nonsense.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it comes down to like guys literally just don't know how to talk about it. So when it does come up on the news, like the people who should be talking about it have no idea how to, and the people that don't understand are trying to put words on it that don't accurately describe what is being processed in the brains of these people, right?
Yeah.
Of how their mental health is declining.
It becomes hard too when
The
we as men have that responsibility over others. Like, say, if we have a family of our own, it's like hard navigating that, showing them that as well, because like we feel we have a
Absolutely,
duty and
yeah.
responsibility over our loved ones, and it's like hard to portray that a lot of times, you know, because we want to step up and be that, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Which, yeah, that brings up another good point too, is we have to think about it in that regard, but we also have to be able to express those feelings
Yeah.
to our family,
Exactly.
especially when it is yours.
They're the most important people
Otherwise,
to do
who
that
else
to.
can you
Yeah.
do it to,
Exactly.
right? So that's one important thing
Mhm.
that people need to recognize in, well, especially in relationships,
Mhm.
is if I were to be able to have those vulnerable moments, will I still be accepted?
Yeah,
And that's something that guys actually
Yeah.
have to think about,
All the
which
time.
is pretty upsetting
Yeah.
in the long run, right?
Yeah.
Because of course, in general public, I think it's still, you don't want to be seen walking around crying all the time, right? And I think that's fine for the
Mhm.
most part, right? But you do need those moments of vulnerability,
Yeah.
and there needs to be that. I'll use
Sep-
the word safe space
Yeah. And
for it, right?
you know,
As much as a negative context that word gets, but there is truth behind it.
yeah, and like the sad part is too is like people only realize this stuff when they finally hit that like peak of, you know, like,
that was
Before it hits
Yeah.
Yeah.
too late.
because like speaking from experience, these like even when I like turned to religion, like whenever I reverted to Islam, like that was the point where I knew I had to like make major life changes, because I knew like this can't be like normal. This isn't normal. Like I can't just be alone in these like I need to get it out, you know. I need to like change what I'm doing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's like it's sad that people have to
Yep.
get to that point to even realize that it's okay, and like you will, like, it's inevitable to feel these things throughout your life. We have like on average 60, 70 years to live. Like it's inevitable. We're gonna be feeling these things, you know, both male and female. But you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
from what I get it, like people that should be talking about it, that has a problem of mental health, they are not the ones that talking, but the
Yeah.
ones they are not going through it, right?
Mhm.
So we are still talking about the mental health, but the ones suffering, they don't talk much because their
Mhm.
mentality is like that. I don't want to be perceived as weak
Yeah.
or like a child, right? A woman.
Mhm.
They want to look like masculine.
Yeah.
So that's why they are not talking. But I think it will get better with the time,
Mhm.
right? People will open up and they'll understand it's like a normal thing,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
something like weird thing or anything like that. You have to talk about your mental health and everything.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, like like it's almost like mental health is one of those weird things that like you can keep believing you are okay, like over and over, but everything will come down. It's like that story of Sisyphus, the Greek myth of the guy who pushes the boulder up the hill only for it to come back down over and over again, right? So until you break out of that system of not being able to talk of it, that boulder is going to keep coming down. So it's just something that you guys like, that all guys need to recognize as soon as they start feeling those things.
The crazy part about that too is your body will fail on you when you get to that
Absolutely.
peak. Like it's like I've experienced it too. Like, you know, when you're at that like lowest point, your brain literally will like start giving up on your body because of your mental health, and people have died from being like too depressed.
Yeah, you can get seriously sick and worse.
Your body just gives up, and like again, it comes back to that. Like, it's sad that people have to experience this to like know that it's a thing.
Yeah, you can keep it inside yourself, like keep it inside. But then like one small thing will snap you, and then it could lead to like a bad decision or bad outcome, right?
Or having a
So
memory.
it's better to talk it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like, people
Can't
say
build the wall forever.
Yeah, people say like time heals, but like time doesn't heal that trauma. That trauma is like reoccurring trauma. Until you get that like fixed, or like it'll just keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly. The way I always looked at it is like your mind is like a stone fortress, right? That can weather just about anything under the right conditions. But even an impenetrable fortress needs repairs, right? No fortress has ever stood forever without the need for repair and recovery.
No. There's always got to be a balance. Like, as men, we do need to be, you know, strong, but that strength also comes with admittance and accountability, and being open about our feelings, especially to the ones that are closest to us, because it's important for them to like know that we're able to be vulnerable with them as well, because that's part of their role as well.
Yep.
Just like it's part of our role when they come to us, to be that like crutch for them when they're vulnerable.
I mean, you need at least someone you can be like weak or vulnerable against, right? You have to be with someone who you can talk to.
Yep.
Other than that, you can keep your like armor up in front of everyone. But at least talk to someone about your mental health. Don't just keep it inside. Because in future or like somewhere along the line, you gonna snap.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's just talk it out.
Yeah.
Just make it normal, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you said too. Yeah, we need someone who can ground us as well, which is like a whole thing of what like a spouse is. It's like you need someone to be able to be grounded with and be able to come home and be vulnerable with, because that's strength.
Yeah.
It takes strength to like someone to break down those walls for us.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a spouse, right? Because there's so many people that struggle with it before they can meet their significant other.
Yeah.
Whether it be a parent, a coach,
yeah, exactly,
or a friend,
even
right?
just a friend,
Yep. Yeah. I get that. Like, if you want to keep your strong appearance in front of your relationship, your spouse or your girl, just talk with your buddy, your grandparents, your parents, even your sister or sibling. I know siblings can be like hard to deal with, but talk with them. They will definitely understand you, right?
Yeah.
And you can keep up your armor in front of everyone, right? So you can look strong and still can talk with like at least one person who will understand you.
Yeah.
And help you through it.
Yep.
Yeah, and as you talk, you'll find it'll be easier to let go of those things that you thought were hard to let go of at first, right?
A lot of times too, I feel like when you feel these things, you feel like talking about them puts a burden on other people. I feel like that's also the thing that's stigmatized. It's like, you don't want to put these feelings on someone else because you don't want people to feel the same way you're currently feeling. But in reality, you're not burdening anyone by like just talking. But like, these are things like you have in your head that you just don't know until like it's talked about. Like it needs to become normalized.
I mean, talking won't solve the problem, right? Talking won't like solve the problem, but you will definitely feel better. Like someone understands, someone knows that.
Yeah, it's like taking.
We know that talking won't like Don't tell me I stuttered or like my internet went out.
No, no, you're good.
It was just we heard you fine, but there was a pause frame there for a second.
I just
Just
saw his
off a
smirk.
little bit.
I saw Sam smirk. I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
why I
right.
asked. You guys said that?
No, bro, his smirk always gets me. I can't, bro.
Yeah, that's why I had to ask.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Andrew?
You brought up like relationships, how it kind of like kills your mental health a lot. Well, like, and I know that like this is only like my only relationship, but I know I get what people are saying. It's like your first one, you can get over it, but the thing is with the first one, you can not really get over it a lot. Like when I'm being victimized by a breakup, but the way the breakup happened, it killed me because of just the way how it happened. Like it wasn't like a face-to-face thing. It was basically, and I know how it happened vividly. Like that's the problem with my like having a good memory, is because anything can just remind you of like how it happened and what time it is and all the little details, that which is a very weird thing to have. But being through a breakup and the way it happened, like through a text message, and then feeling like it's a closure, like that just like killed me right there.
Yeah, it just goes to show like how
that's the
strong that thing is too. Like the fact that it affects you this much,
Yeah,
even
the-
after, shows how like strong those feelings really are.
Yeah, really hit me a lot.
Yeah,
Yep. I mean, you know, it's gonna end sometime, but the closure is main thing, right? It has to be like face to face. You talk to someone and get the closure. Don't just leave them hanging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no matter
that's a-
no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what, like you say, like, oh, I don't want to hurt you because I don't want to say it in front of your face. Well, no matter what, you're gonna hurt me. You even hurt me even worse.
Yeah, either way.
Like this is
Yeah,
even
It's
harder.
gonna like either way.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the
And-
thing. People don't understand. You gonna hurt them either way. So might have just face them, look into their eyes, and say what you're gonna say, right? That way, at least they will get closure.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Like you guys
becoming-
bring up a good point on that for sure.
Like it's becoming a thing now where breakups don't happen face to face anymore. They're all becoming like indirect.
Yeah.
even meeting people, like nothing like finding a friend nowadays is hard. Like I know it's a different topic, but like it's seen as weird when you approach people just out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's like
And yeah.
like rewind back just like 15, 20
Old
years.
school.
Like these are like normal things, but it's becoming like more and more like weird. Just because
More
tech,
sensitive.
Like even
Yeah.
even to hang out with people that you meet at work,
yeah, exactly.
Like, especially if you're starting your career. Like
Yeah.
these are people you're gonna see for a long time. You might as well get to know them,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that ties into an interesting point of how people's actions can inadvertently, not just with men's mental health, but
Mhm.
in mental health in general,
Yeah.
right? But it's something that I think men in particular
Yeah.
are struggling with right now,
Mhm.
because we are typically more. I'm going to use the word confrontational about things, but I don't mean that in a negative context,
Yeah, no.
right? Is that we tend to
Yeah.
do things face to face, and that's how we settle things, right?
Yeah.
Within, within reason.
Yeah.
But so when these things, this modern age style of communication happens, I think has got a lot to do with how mental health has declined severely for men.
Declined over the years, yeah.
I feel like a lot of times too, with how we were approached by people, they also don't know how to navigate that with us. Like when they do see
Exactly.
us struggling, they don't know how to deal with it. Like just as much
Yep.
as we don't know how to deal with it ourselves, other people don't know how to deal with it because they're not accustomed to like finally face that whenever it happens. You know?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all grew up differently,
Mhm.
like all men,
Yeah.
right? But that's a common issue that we find, right? Like not many people, like I know for me personally, talking to people has never been
Mhm.
a weakness
Easy.
of mine,
Mhm.
right? I grew up around adults like my entire life. All my parties had adults.
Yeah.
I never had a kids party, so I learned to talk with adults early on as when I was young, right? But not everybody gets to have that experience where then they're prepared for when you get older to have these actual conversations, right?
Okay.
You're mentally still wanting to talk about only the fun things, when in reality
Yeah.
you need to talk about these other things
Yeah.
because it's key to a healthy mind, right?
I think I'm like
Yep.
the opposite with you. I was kind of like forced into that scenario. Like when I was
Hmm.
17, I was kind of forced into life because like living alone since 17,
Yeah,
you don't have much choice but to be independent, and you learn that you pick these things up not by choice but by necessity. Like it's
yeah,
necessary.
like being thrown into the fire,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But like
Yep.
it prepares you for sure.
Which in some ways is the best way to learn,
Exactly.
as unfortunate any circumstance might be.
Because it's
But
life. Like you're gonna be thrown into
it
the
is
fire
life, yeah.
all the time. Like it's inevitable. Because life is a
Yeah.
test. It's not meant to be easy. It's not. You're not meant to be happy all the time. It's meant to be
Yeah.
hard. But you know, it's how we deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that brings us to another point that we need to discuss, which is how not to lean too far to the other side
It's true.
of things now,
Yeah. Very true.
right?
Yeah.
We'll pause here for a second just for him to come back.
I knew it noticed.
That was a good
I
segue.
can
If
hear
you
you
were
guys, but I can
mad.
see your video.
No, we're still talking about that. We're just talking about the other side of mental health, right? Where it's
Mhm.
also being strong enough to make it in the real world.
Yeah, like you can't. Like, of course, we have things happen to us, but it's important not to always play that victim card. Like,
Exactly.
100%.
kind of going
Yep,
too far, you
definitely.
know? Like,
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of a huge problem right now.
yeah.
Is men's accountability.
Yeah.
At least what I'm saying with the young, like after coaching for a fair bit now, you know, this will be outside of seasons I've coached before. This will be my second season in a row
Mhm.
with a whole different group of kids, and I'm seeing it again, man. You know, we got 40 kids out there, and like for young men, right? Because they're 14 heading into high school. That's young men,
Yep.
right? The accountability side of men's mental health is huge, right? Being able to be accountable for your own actions
Yeah. Admittance.
and not playing that victim card where it's somebody else's fault.
Yep.
Where you turn your mindset that everybody's against you,
Yeah.
right? And just like they don't recognize yet that, you know, the world is not sunshine and rainbows, right? Like there are people that are bad, there are situations that are bad,
Mhm.
and they don't have that will
Yeah.
to make it through those situations unless somebody teaches it to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that kind of comes in line with, yes, we're teaching people to be more open about their feelings, which is good,
Mhm.
but we're also teaching them to be, nothing's your fault.
Yeah.
Everything is everybody else's fault.
Yeah.
The world owes you something.
Yep.
In reality, it doesn't. Right?
Yeah,
So
especially
men need to have that pillar of strength within them to be able to make it past all of that.
It's crazy too, because like when you get to that age, like you realize nobody cares about you. Like nobody cares what you've been through.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your experiences.
No,
Like people you don't know, they don't care. They got their own stuff going on. Like
exactly.
and like
Yep.
having that like you said, accountability and that admittance. Like one of the strongest things you can ever do is admitting you're wrong, and of course taking that accountability, having that emotional intelligence, and fixing it. You know, like doing what you need to do at the end of the day with that admittance and accountability.
Like from where I grew up and how I grew up, for me, mental health is still like I never talked about it.
Mhm.
But from my experience, I can tell like you should talk to someone
Mhm.
because that things like destroys you sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
just mentally, the physically as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Physically. Yeah.
Mhm.
Your body will just give up on you.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to do some like work as well.
Yeah.
You always feel down and you won't have like feel like it that you want to do your work or anything like that. You could just
Yeah.
lie on your bed for 24/7 and you wouldn't be able like you won't be able to eat food or anything like that.
Yeah.
You just won't have that drive. So it's better to
Exactly.
talk it out and
It's true.
like have some friends like at least that will support you. Even
Yeah.
if you don't talk about it, they'll understand you, right? They'll cheer you up. They know. So making like good friends is also like good for your mental health. because they will be there for you when no one's there, when no one's like your family or like even your girlfriend or anyone like that. It's not there, but you need like good friends, and that will like keep your mental health up as well.
Yeah, for
They'll
sure.
make you laugh and everything. Yep. So that's why good
Yeah.
friends are good for like your mental health.
Yeah. Andrew, do you have any tips for us on how maybe you overcame any mental health barriers, or maybe tips you want to share with other people?
Uh,
Like Karan had
it's pretty.
mentioned, obviously having good friends. Is there anything along those lines that you think?
After Andrew speaks, I'll add one more thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I was gonna say something like something that you like to do, something like going to the gym every day, just to try and overcome that mental health issue. Like basically, it's a pretty simple thing. Just go into the gym, do your best work, do your best by pushing yourself in a way to clear up your mind. Because at the end of that workout, like at the end of the workout, you're gonna feel like a better person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going in sometimes it's a 50-50. You could either be angry, you could be happy going in.
Yeah.
But at the end, you'll do a good you'll know you know that you're going to accomplish something. At least you've done something like waking up early, going to the gym like you said, 5 a.m. Hard workers just going to the gym and then going to work right after. Something they accomplished, something that they have done for the day in a way to like to clear up their mind.
Yeah. Well, it gives you that sense of schedule. It gives you that fatigue in your body. At least going to the gym at least does. To you're not gonna have the energy to think about all these negative things in your life, like physically, right? And then going to the gym every day, or even if it's every 4 days a week or whatever, you have that set schedule in your mind. But there's always something to look forward to, right? You're not just wandering around endlessly, just looking for the next good feeling thing, right? When you go to the gym, you start having good feelings set. Maybe it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, or maybe it's every day. You have that set schedule in your mind, and I think that's huge for improving your mental health. So that's a good point that you raised there, with especially with going to the gym. Not only the physical benefits, but the mental benefits.
I'd say like a huge part of that too is the maintaining. So it's one thing to start that process, but like maintaining that and keeping up good routines is huge as well. Like staying busy and productive and all that, because it's like it's good, like you said too, staying busy. Like, because a lot of times even after therapy, they'll keep checking up with you because it's maintaining that, like maintaining that progress and good work to maintain that good mental health. Because a lot of times people, sure, like once they feel good, they're like, okay, I'm good. Let's go. We're good. But it's about maintaining that as well. And it's like, we need these hardships too in life because like, how would we know what we truly have without hardships? And it's having those challenges and,
having adversity is I think
is necessary.
Especially for men.
Yeah.
To have a challenge to strive for is the most. I think that's something that's more ingrained in our DNA than anything. Like look at men throughout history. There's like we were always fighting. We were always training, lifting the rocks, doing the farms, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there was different societal norms throughout years that helped play into that. But it was also just that men seek those, especially those physical challenges, those physical and mental hardships, so that they can do something great with themselves to feel better after. Like anybody that's ever done a hard day's work of putting up a shed or something, like it feels pretty rewarding at the end. You go especially if you're with a bunch of good guys and you have a couple of drinks after, or you go out and eat or something like that, right? I mean, even us, when we get off shift, go have some food, right? That was pretty solid. Like
pretty
hard
good.
day's work,
Sushi therapy.
hard day's fun.
A lot of times too, like we do these things because we have to, not even because we want to, and it's still like we get that sense of rewarding feeling afterwards. Like all these hardships that we face, like we know we have to do them because it's inevitable. Like it's the only way forward. So it's like both. It's a mix of both. Like we do seek that, of course, and it's also because we have to. We know we have to. We know we have a duty, and we get those same effects from it as well.
Yep, definitely.
For sure.
Because like you said too, like staying busy, you keep good mental health doing that. Whereas like if you're staying a hermit, it's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
It's not gonna help your.
You have to keep your mind busy
Yeah.
to stop it from thinking, right?
Yeah.
To keep it thinking over and over again.
But that like, can't confuse that with like not doing anything for our mental health because it coincides with that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
From my personal experience, like I didn't get any counseling or anything like that, right? I was like a normal person who was playing sports and everything.
Yeah.
Then suddenly they told me like I can't do shit or anything like that. I'm gonna be handicapped or anything like that. So I was in bed for 1 year. So I never got a chance to like talk about it with anyone or anyone. Like no counseling or anything. So it was hard for me to transition from like a playing boy, like sports boy, to walk on a stretcher or anything like that. So for me it was like keep thinking about it. Like I thought I was done because I couldn't do anything or anything like that, and I couldn't even talk with anyone. So my mental health was shit at that time. But the gaming and gaming friends, I talked to them and it felt better and better. It got me better. Then the gym started. So that gym kept me going. That way my mind like stopped thinking about like what I can't do and what I can do in the gym, right? So that mental health like keep getting better with. I don't know why people say gaming is bad for you, but it can help you, right? Because when I was like way down in my mental health, gaming was the only thing that kept me going. And that online friends, like those strangers somewhere in the world, know my like how my life went, and they helped me through it. They talked me out of it. So that really helped me as well. So you don't need like someone physically. You can play like any game like I played, and those online friends helped me like with my mental health as well. I talked with them and it helped. So it's just like talking and having someone, right? It doesn't have to be physically there.
Yeah, and like different things work for different people as well. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever works for you, but yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, scenarios change
Yep.
from everybody's life,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you find what you can to help you through that
Yep.
time, right?
Exactly.
And we're in that day and age now that you have access to all these things.
Yeah.
So why not take
Yep.
advantage of them for
Right.
good reasons instead of like take
Mhm.
advantage of the things that people say are bad and turn them into goods, right?
yep. So you could think like you can't do it, then you won't do it, right? But you just have to focus on good thing, just one good thing. Like there's light at end of the tunnel, right?
Yep.
You just have to focus on that small thing, and you will get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as we
One
realize
small
it,
step at a time.
yeah, as much as we realize it or not, too, the people we surround ourselves to have a huge impact on us. Like, I know personally, I'm sure I could probably speak for these guys too. When I found out your story, like it motivated me a lot. It impacted me in a positive way to like even start going to the gym more. Because like you appreciate what you really have, and
Yep.
I'm sure they could feel the same sort of way in some degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, just having good people around you
Mhm.
changes your goals to better yourself.
Yeah.
Because, and it's funny because you are being, a lot of people take this a negative way and they see it as a negative when you're competitive with your friends. But being competitive with your friends drives you to greater heights, right?
Right? Yep.
You know,
You
you don't
both
want
do,
to put
yeah.
anybody down, but
Yep.
you want to get to that point where you can feel good talking to your friends about what you're doing in life, right? And if that's done through competition with your friends,
Yep.
or through brotherhood,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever method it might be,
Yeah.
then good on anybody, right?
So we touched on the last episode too, like that healthy competition. Like it's good to have.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's
I
good
was
to
gonna
have.
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Cry and I,
healthy
like.
competition, yeah, compete.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
two. Yeah. Oh yeah, like it created a bond for these two. Like that healthy competition, like it pushed them both past their limits and stuff. It's like it's so sick
Yeah.
to see from
Let's
an
go.
outsider as well. Like it even motivates me. Like I wasn't even there with them, but just hearing it, like it's amazing to hear. Like it pushes me as
Like
well.
ever
The
since,
competition, yeah.
Yeah,
ever since we started using that weight belt, like I've been using that since, because
Yeah,
it
that's
it
awesome.
feels good to try. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
And I was always the one teasing him. Can you do this? How many reps can you do? If you do that, I'll do one more. I'll do
Yeah.
one better than you. So the competition drives you.
exactly.
It like grows you, right? As a person, as you push harder.
Plus,
Yeah,
Otherwise, you'll
absolutely.
stay in the same place.
as men, we look for
Yeah.
that too. You know, like what are
Mhm.
ways where we can like push past our limits, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be in like a like. Take me for example. I was an MMA fighter, but like I wasn't looking just to like beat people for competition. I was looking like to learn because like a lot of times you want to spar a guy who's better than you because you learned something from it, and it's
Yeah.
like that healthy competition. Like what can you use to like allow yourself and the other person to grow together?
Yeah, absolutely.
G- Generally in sport, right? The champion was never the champion, right? He started at bottom, then
Yeah.
competition got him to the champion level, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
In any
competition that
sport.
drives you.
Yeah.
Hence why he
I
has a
mean,
whole
yeah.
team behind him as well. Like,
Yeah.
they helped him through the whole journey. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
like healthy competition. That's why people spar in
Yeah.
the first place. But it can be
Yeah.
not even just in that scenario. In any scenario, you can take something like that from.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
whether that be
absolutely,
the
yeah.
workplace or whatever, school, anything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
same with mental health. You can deal it with like competition.
Yeah.
You just have to get better at it.
Yep.
You just have to be better each day. If you're feeling down, you will feel better next day. You just have to keep going. It's just like competition.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we've covered some really good
Yeah.
points on this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a good combo, man.
Yeah.
The last one was short, but this one is good.
Yeah.
What else
Can't
can we
wait to
cover
do-
with
Sorry.
what else can we cover in regards to men's mental health? Like what we've covered quite a bit already.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was there any aspects that we're missing?
I don't
Nope.
feel
We
anything.
can just summarize though. We can summarize.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like we could summarize some of the points we've made at the end here. But do we want to go around and just mention a few, just quickly, a few things that we think everybody should do to help improve their mental health,
Yeah.
or things that
Just
we have
go-
done
yeah.
personally? Yeah,
Yeah.
just like three
each
things,
point.
you know.
Yeah, each point. Yeah.
And yeah, we can go around like that. Jake, on your screen, who's in the top left corner?
Andrew,
Andrew, and then who's to the right of them?
cut on.
You.
Karan, and then I'm to the bottom of Andrew.
Yep.
Yeah. So do we want to go in that order then?
Sure.
So you'll be last.
Yep.
Andrew first, Karan second, me third.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll just
Sounds good.
quickly cover three things. You know, not long form, just
Yeah,
Like
or just
why we think
doesn't
we
have to
would
be a
then.
certain amount.
I will
just-
deal with
yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
Hey,
and then we'll just summarize, and
Yep.
one of us can just summarize at the end everything we've covered.
Yep. Sounds good.
do what you like to do, like going to the gym every day,
Yep.
even 4 days a week. You'll get something out of it. At least you'll be a better person after. Open up.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to open up to anybody, even your family and friends. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you are courageous to do anything. Yeah, I can't really think of a third.
No, that's good,
Can't
man.
really third point.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
good.
good.
No, those are good points. Those are solid. Ron, do you have
Like Andrew said, open up, right? But if you are like me, who couldn't open up, yeah, gym helped me for sure. Gaming for sure, and you can do whatever you like to do in your free time. Read a book, like get a hobby, play some music or anything like that. Start and playing instrument. It will help you. If you can't talk about it, just do some work, right? And you will feel better. Like not from the beginning, but like after some time, you'll feel better.
Mhm.
So get a hobby or something like that. Keep working on yourself, and you will feel better.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I think you guys covered some good points there. I'd say definitely like you guys covered it already, but keeping up your physical health is priority. I think that's something we all agree on and would be a point in all of our lists.
Yep.
But if I was going to simplify it and just say there's one thing that you can do, that you could do right now, anybody could do, is definitely just grabbing a book and just reading it.
Yeah,
Like
that's big.
the surprising effects of just sitting down and reading. Like, no TV, maybe some
Yeah.
music if you need it, you know, and just letting your mind wander, whether it's a fictional book or a nonfiction, but especially in those fictional settings where you just go into that and you're able to take yourself out of it. It just has such great, like, there's so much research on neurological activity
Yeah.
in regards to that and how that can help your brain function better.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Changes your mindset.
exactly, especially when you're reading those nonfiction books, right? You can get mindset help, right? But I think a good balance of both is in order, and then keeping consistent with whatever it is you choose to do. I
Huge.
think
Yep.
if you can't keep consistent with what you choose to do, then there's no point of doing that specific task that you're doing to improve yourself,
Mhm.
right? If it's
Stay disciplined.
exactly, even if it's
Big.
maybe there's something in your program you don't like doing at the gym, so you don't go anymore. Change your program.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like the book you're reading, change the book,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Find something else.
Found that
And
very
then I
well.
think, yeah.
That's big.
And then in regards to maybe a third point would be find something simple but fulfilling, you know. And I already said reading, but finding a task that you can do that maybe isn't as involved technologically, maybe, you know. And maybe, like I said, reading a book, or finding some sort of hobby like woodworking or something like that, where it's just simple basic things that go back to human nature, or just taking a walk, you know. Doing the simple things actually matter.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are skipping
Yeah.
those.
Like be in nature.
Yeah,
Take a walk,
exactly.
take a hike,
Hiking.
go to trail. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. I'll take it even further back. I would say, you know, everything comes with a start, so baby steps. Nothing happens overnight, so it's the point of just starting that process. Like, just take your time. Another thing, like, learn to realize you're not always right. Be able to take that accountability, and even other people will start to respect you more for it. And you'll also gain more self-love and a lot of strength through that as well. I think those are, like,
Yep.
huge points.
Yeah, for
Those
sure.
are something I would say, like, I've gained a lot through the way.
Oh,
Nothing's
yeah,
perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to summarize it all then, like, guys, if you're looking to improve your mental health, like, the things that we have all personally found that have helped us is our basic things is, one, taking care of your physical health, right? We all go to the gym and we've all noticed improvements, right? Two, taking care of taking care of the simple things that matter, right? Like, being able to open up to people is huge, right?
Yeah.
Being able to get outside and do something that isn't work, you know, something related to something that might give you stress or anxiety that negatively affects you.
Mhm.
Being able to have that good team behind your back is
Back.
huge too, right? Like, we talked about how champions are made and they always have that team behind them, but you don't need to be a champion to have a couple good buddies.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I think those are some of the key things that everybody can agree on are very important to keeping up your mental health and even growing it to the point where that you are more resilient as a person to the things that used to bother you, and you're more able to effectively deal with the things that do bother you. So, yeah.
I'll end it off by
I would say again though, just quick one. Like the Sam said, good company and good friends are must.
yeah, man.
If you wanna feel better, just be with better company.
Yeah.
Even in the gym or anywhere, just be with good company and you will feel better. Even if you are down, you automatically feel good in like their presence. So keep the good company.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like, you'd be surprised who will like sit there and listen to what you have to say when you do open up. Because I'm sure a lot of people would. Like, I'm sure any of us here know that the other is there for each other.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And then,
Yeah.
I guess you start by ending off by saying, like, the hardest battles to fight are within oneself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Guess we can end it off there, huh?
Plus, say bye in every language. Sayonara,
Yeah,
ciao, adios, das vidania.
Alright.
I don't know if that one we can use right now.
Yeah, that's kind of a touchy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.